Hi, Fashion Dolls. Happy Transformation Tuesday, July 15th, and welcome to another new episode of Style by Stevie. It feels so good to be back. Our very special guest today is an actor, director, and producer, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with me. He's going to be dishing on his new project, Broken, and I'm super excited to have him here, and I hope you guys all are doing wonderful. Please, I apologize for my tardiness. I was trying to set my camera upright so that we didn't drop, because I know my camera sometimes drops, but we are here. It feels so good. We didn't have a show for yesterday, but I hope you all are doing as wonderful as I am. All right, I'm back to the blonde. I had to go back to the blonde. I'm feeling like Cowboy Carter a little bit. You know, Beyonce was the inspo for today's hair, if you guys are wondering. Hi. I hope you all are doing excellent. Let me share this live with my very special guest so that I can get him here in the dollhouse with me. All right. Wait a minute. There we are. There we are. Give me one sec. Let me search for him down here. There we are. Boom. All right, so we're going to be getting into our show with our very special guest in a bit once my guest joins me. I hope you all are doing wonderful. We've been having so much thunderstorms lately down here in the Carolinas. It's not even funny. Give me a sec, y'all. Like, whoo. Okay, there we are. There we are. Happy Transformation Tuesday. We got a great show lineup this week for you guys. But I'm waiting on my guests to get here so that we can get this show started. Give me a sec. I need to make sure that my stand is adjusted so that my phone doesn't drop. Yeah, because this leaning is trying to drop. Give me one sec. Let me back up some. There we are. There we are. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. All right, so let me let my guests know that we are ready so that we can get this interview started, Fashion Dolls, all right? And make sure y'all go and check out the interviews from the past few week, Fashion Dolls. It's been a great show lineup all throughout this week. And I need you guys to go back and check it out. Catch up on everything if you haven't. Where is my brush? I have a special brush. There we are. So that we don't melt. All right? All right. So I'm waiting on Nate to come on in and join so that we can get this interview started. I'm going to share it with him again. I just sent him the live. There we are. All right. And if you haven't, make sure that you head on over to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube, and you can catch up on some of the previous interviews and shows as well. So without further ado, our very special guest is here. Please welcome to the dollhouse, actor, director, producer, Nate Taylor. As we're trying to get my very special guest up here, please give me a minute, Fashion Dolls. Give me a minute. We're going to get it right. We're going to get it right. All right, all right. While we're waiting, give me a minute. We're waiting on Nate, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a sec. I don't know what's going on. I just shared the live with him. So we're waiting on Nate to come in. In the meantime, between time, I need you guys to make sure that you're going and checking out Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube so you'll be updated when everything, new interviews or whatever is coming forth and being launched on the channel. So much to come in the future. And I hope you guys all are doing as excellent as I am as well. Welcome as you're just coming in. Hi, Nubian treasures. How are you? It's been a minute, my love. Please give me a sec. I'm over here trying not to melt. There we are. How is everybody doing today? We're waiting on Nate. I just sent him the live. All he has to do is click the live and join. Let me tell him. Hold on one sec. Thank you. Doing wonderful, girl. Doing wonderful. Trying to hang in here and stay cool. This heat is something else. I'm in South Carolina and it's like at least 80, 85, close to 90 down here. It's hot and we've been having a lot of thunderstorms, so I hope you guys have been all being safe out there, especially in the Texas area. My heart goes to the Texas area. Make sure that you guys are all being safe and aware to everything that is going on. It is so much going on, and you know that I got you as far as what's going on in the current political landscape. So make sure you check my stories. There's a lot of information there. Make sure that you're following me as well too. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get this interview started. My very special guest is here. I'm going to add him in. Yes. You're in Georgia? Yes. Please be safe out here, y'all. Please be safe out here. If you're in the Georgia, Texas, or South Carolina area, it's been raining and flooding like nonstop down here, especially if you're in the Carolinas. So I want you guys all to make sure that you are all being safe out here. Let me try again because I just added him. Let me try again. And make sure y'all go and follow Nubian Treasures Handcrafted. You guys know that I'm all about supporting Black-owned businesses here. So y'all make sure y'all go and follow her. I don't know what's going on. I just added him. Can y'all see Nate? Okay, let me try something. You are so welcome, girl. Let me try this way and see if this will work.
Oh shit, can't even see it.
Please.
Sorry.
Welcome.
Yeah, how you doing? We trying to adjust this because we tried to do it on my PC or whatever, but it wasn't the link wasn't working, so we had to do it on like the laptop.
Well, we got you both here. So welcome. Welcome to the dollhouse. It is such a pleasure to have y'all both here to dish
How
on
you
this
doing?
project. Yes, 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 yes. So before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been for the both of you?
It's been busy working on this film. It's been a lot of organization and putting things together and getting the whole crew together so we can make this phenomenal film for Cleveland, Ohio. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been busy with filming that predominantly took place in the spring and just getting the word out. So just staying busy, already starting to audition for other things.
Yeah. My life has all been about this film. I'm all my money, all my resources. I'm broke right now, so everything's going into this film.
But this prophet is going to make a profit because let me tell you why. That flyer is the eye catcher. And Hayley, to my left over here, I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera. The camera's opposite, but she is the leading lady in this film. She is the lead character in this project.
Mm-hmm.
So what I know doing a project like this, because when I looked at the poster, when you sent me the poster, and I said, "Oh, okay, well, this is what we on." I love thrillers. I love suspense thrillers, so I already know what it's going to get. So Hayley, for you playing the lead character for such a, I can only imagine, girl, a role where you literally have to tap out of yourself. What was that like for you?
It was definitely a new experience. So Nate took a chance on me, and I'm very grateful for that. So um, it was definitely there. Broke down the script on my own to write out the given circumstances and previous actions so that I know everything that's happening. But in terms of the emotion, sometimes it did get hard to have to like bring that emotion in multiple takes. So I was grateful to everybody for giving me space and allowing me to do that. And if I needed a break or if I needed others to check in, they understood what I meant and they were there to support me through it.
Absolutely. Now, Nate, you are the executive producer of this project right here. And
Right.
I'm gonna go back to Hayley as well too, because you played the lead character, Nancy, in this project. And it
Mm-hmm.
follows a woman who's had a traumatic or tragic experience and it haunts her. And I'll correlate my 2 cents into this on how it's so prevalent in the time we're in right now. But
Mm-hmm.
Nate, for you, what is it like filming such a remarkable project? You said you almost went broke, but I can guarantee you this project is going to chart because a thriller is what grabs the eye. And I'm pretty sure that it is more than meets the eye when we seen the flyer. The flyer is what drew us in instantly. So for you as an executive producer, from your standpoint, from your lens, what was it like getting Hayley to channel such a pivotal character in a project where it's like you have to tap out of yourself and method acting? And I talk a lot about this with a lot of actors as well too.
Well, I would say Haley's a seasoned actor, so it was really kind of easy to just give her like the backstory of the character, and just like relate to her what I needed from her, from the character, like how I wanted the character to be in certain scenes, and the emotional strain the character will be under, throughout the movie, and she just was able to imitate that very well. I mean, she was able to take what I told her and take what the script was saying and just like bring it out of herself. I mean, she's very seasoned, so it wasn't very hard. I mean, when you deal with somebody who does definitely has acting talent, who knows how to break down a script, who knows how to take what you say verbally and translate it visually. I mean, it just makes things a lot easier.
Absolutely. And for you, Hayley, it's a lot of actors who really, and I talk about method acting a lot if in some of my previous interviews with a lot of actors who've been able to tap into characters where it's like you really have to get deep. So it's amazing that you have that support system there, Nate included, producers and your co-stars there to be like, okay, you're no longer the character now. You're Hayley now. Were there moments for you where it's just like, okay, I need to take a break. I need to regroup because I've interviewed people who've done shows like Fatal Attraction, shows like the FBI Files, where they're literally on set of the crime scene of things that have happened. And it's like in real time, you can't afford to mess this up. Y'all know where I'm going. Heath Ledger is the prime example because when he was playing the Joker, like he went all the way there. So for you, my question for you, Hayley, is what was it like having to be able to turn that character on and then turn it off? And what was family's reaction?
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, Nate is also the writer of Broken, so it was really well written. where I was able to break it down and see all these little nuances that Nancy brings, and just to really form her character, which was great. But I think with film specifically, there are moments on set where you're not in front of the camera, so there are just kind of natural breaks, just like set in during the time of filming, and like discussions that Nate was having with the crew of like the shot that he wanted to get next. So I did have some breaks in between scenes, but again, like the shooting of the same scene was definitely a new thing for me. So trying to bring that energy and stay there, and that emotion and stay there, was definitely a challenge, but a fun challenge that I enjoyed. And Nate was really perceptive and offered a very collaborative set where if I felt that I didn't bring my all in that one take, he would be like, okay, well, if you didn't feel like you brought it, then let's do it again. So very grateful for that.
Outstanding job in such a masterpiece of a project. And how I can correlate to this project and how it's so prevalent in the time that we're living in is it not only follows that it is a lady killer who is stalking the streets of Cleveland. And the thing about it is, you never know what a person's trauma or what they could be battling with behind the scenes. That's what I also took away with it. It's more to it than meets the eye. Everybody has a backstory. So whether it may be good or bad, in some sort of way we can relate to the characters. And the case in point being, because we all have a story to tell. And sometimes that story is not to be shared. For us, the viewers, the consumers, we're taking it in and we're watching this and we're like, what is it? We know what it is. We're foreshadowing, we're forecasting, and we're already knowing what's next with this character. So the moral of the story for me is about broken, that everybody has trauma. And we unpack our trauma in many different ways. So my next question for the both of you, Nate and Hayley, when was a moment for you in your life that was pivotal when working on this project where it's just like, okay, it's made you think? Because projects, film projects, whether it may be film or music, it makes you sit back and reevaluate your life in certain aspects. And I know for each and every one of us as creatives, we're sitting in the writing room and we're like, are we sure we want to share this with the world? Because of so much judgment, like, am I going to be judged? Am I going to be prosecuted for sharing this aspect of my life? So that was going to be my question for the both of you. Like having to tap into this project, has it been a time where you ever had to go through like a personal and be like, okay, I need to think about this as far as going?
I mean, I would say for one thing, this project is really dear to me because I put some of myself, or a lot of myself, into the project. This project does deal with mental health awareness. It definitely deals with someone that's been abused, if it's physically, mentally, or sexually or whatever. Um, and thinking about my childhood, I was sexually abused. So I put some of that, my own pain and struggle and my trial and tribulations, dealing with that, growing up with that, with that tragedy in my life, and I put that in the film. So certain scenes that maybe I wrote in the script, or certain things I saw visually when the actors were acting out, it did touch me, and it just spoke to me as far as like what I went through and my pain and how I had to deal with it, and how I had to heal as I got older. Um, so the movie, like I said, the movie deals with mental health awareness, and I think it speaks to anybody that's struggling
Yeah.
with that, and is trying to overcome that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that and being vulnerable with everybody on here, and also when you release this movie.
Yeah.
For me personally, going through the film didn't necessarily remind me of previous traumas, which I'm lucky about. I think I was mostly concerned with, okay, this is my first big film. I was just really in my head a lot of the time. But I have been in a play where that has happened to me, and it was unresolved trauma. So after I left the play, I was just kind of stuck having to deal with that. So over the years, as I've gotten older, I was able to do that. So I think I also tried not to bring too much of my past trauma to this just so that that doesn't happen again. But I've also done a lot of healing work, so maybe that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think too, just like in real life, this movie speaks to some demons or some certain type of things you're dealing with in life that that causes mental health or whatever, or mental illness. I'm sorry. You don't get over it. You unfortunately, you don't get over that hump. You don't get past the obstacle, and you deal with it for a lot longer than you should have. So.
Yeah, I definitely saw correlations with Nancy and myself. Like she has mental illness and I have depression and anxiety, but it's mostly depression now. So there are highs and lows. So reading the script and just kind of seeing it, definitely, I have an understanding of Nancy. So that's kind of what was helpful in being able to play to those, her trauma.
And I think in the movie too, you'll see how you'll definitely someone who has like mental health issues, and how they navigate throughout their day. Dealing with their friends, their family. How they get ready for their job. How they are at their job. So it's definitely something that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to. So.
And as it pertains to that mental health aspect, Nate, it's for us as people of color. Let's keep it a buck. As it pertains to mental health, that is something that we have been sweeping under the rug for decades. And it
True.
goes all the way back to centuries. For each and every one of us, all three of us as people of color and Black people on this panel here having this conversation, even for my viewers, we can relate to some sort of way because we have been told to sweep things up under the rug. Don't talk about it. But see, people, as you said, that mirror, when you said that mirror, aha,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're sitting there and it's just you and you wake up in the morning, first thing, what do? We wake up, we give God thanks or affirmations, whatever you do, whatever your morning routine or ritual is. And I know for me, what I do is prayer and affirmations. And that's what gets me going through the day. But I also take a minute, I stop and I look in the mirror. And sometimes we battle with our own demons and narcissism, as Nate just said perfectly. And what Hayley just said, which is what I think a lot of people now in this current time, we all need to open up. And whatever demons that we are facing, whatever demons we are fighting on the inside, it is time for us to talk about it. Don't wait too late before it is time for you to get help. Get
I
help
agree.
now. And that's
Right.
what I've also taken away from Broken, because this title is self-explanatory itself. Broken. We all have broken pieces of us. Shout outs to my colleague
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Tittentat, this and that, and I've shared bits and pieces of me with my colleagues Alvin Tittentat, this and that, and so many others, as well as here on my show, on my platform, where I too can relate to people who have been broken in some sort of way, or just in general experienced some sort of trauma. I suffered with emotional abuse, and it wasn't from the hands of my mother. I can tell you that. It was the other parent, just to give you an insight and look into my life. And I've
Mm-hmm.
never really shared that. In one of my most recent, not too long ago interviews, I've shared that, but I've been holding on to it. And it's been going on since childhood. This individual, and I'm going to give just one detail. For instance, my grandmother, which would have been his mother, she's no longer here. God rest her soul. And I don't even remember. I was so young. He grabbed me. I mean, just grabbed me. I'm a baby. Here I am. And I'm not knowing what's going on. My mother, she just recently shared that with me. She said, you didn't know? No, I was too young to know. So we all suffer from abuse in some sort of way. We all suffer from trauma in some sort of way. So I can relate to the character that Hayley is playing, Nancy, because she's battling with her demons. Now, if you watch any film, let's go to the Marvelverse, Batman and Superman. Okay. We want to know, why is the Joker so evil? What is the backstory behind the Joker? Behind any villainous character in any film, we want to know, what is the driving force that makes this person want to hurt people? What is the driving force that makes this person so evil and so cold? And everyone has a backstory. So if you guys haven't, I need you guys to go and check out this remarkable project. Please go and check it out because it touches on all of the bullet points that as well as I myself, as well as Nate and Hayley here hit on, which is narcissism, which is fighting your own personal demons. And we all do. We all feel guilt in some sort of way, don't we? And that was another question that I wanted to ask you both, Hayley and Nate. What advice would you give to someone? And as far as being broken, as far as picking up the pieces of their life and coming back to like finding your own self.
I would definitely say, I mean, like you just said, you have to sometimes like say it. You just said
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, well, I've never said this before, but once you like say it, it's just that right there is so much of a release when you get them feelings out and talk to somebody. I got friends who deal with mental health issues, and one thing I always have told them, and one thing that's helped them a lot is like talking to someone, getting them feelings out. Not keeping it in, because that just causes it to get worse, causes it to build up more. Um, I'm not really into medication. I mean, I know sometimes medication is needed, but to me, that just kind of like it just kind of makes you like feel like you're comatose. I feel like you're not really dealing with the problem. And I think forgiveness, man, forgiveness is really important.
Oh yeah.
Personally, me and going to my story, I was sexually abused by my grandmother. On my father's
Wow.
side, and it took years for me to actually like forgive her because for a lot of years I had a hatred for her. I didn't want to be around her. She would constantly call me. And this as I got older, she would constantly call me, try to spend time with me. And when she was doing these abusive things to me, she used to be alcoholic and she was drunk at the time. So she probably don't even remember it, honestly. I don't even know. But I have this feeling like she don't even remember it because when she was calling me as I got older, it wasn't a sense of I'm calling you because I'm sorry. It's more like I just miss you because you're my grandson.
Exactly. Exactly, Alvin. Narcissistic tendencies are actual NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry. I was reading the comment.
Oh no, no, you're fine. So I'm just saying, like, definitely having someone to talk to, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, or getting professional help. Maybe you can't talk to a family member or a friend because they're going to judge you, or you might feel like they're going to judge you. So, talking to someone that doesn't know you, that doesn't know your backstory, and they're just meeting you for the first time, and they can give you like, advice, but not like I said from a judgmental standpoint. And so, talking to somebody and definitely, seeking God for forgiveness if you need to. If you need to talk to God and be like, God, help me with
Oh
forgiving this
yeah.
person because it's really hard. Because I think them things will definitely, kind of release you from them demons that are trying to make you hold on to that hatred and that anger and to that depression.
Yeah, definitely talk to somebody. That's helpful to get it off your chest. You can write about it, getting it out of your head and just on paper. You can burn the paper as a sign of release. Getting the professional help if you need it. Even if it's not like crippling depression or like mental illness, even if you are struggling in your life and you don't necessarily suffer from a mental disorder, disability, it is helpful to talk to somebody professionally, which I have done, mostly to talk about maybe one thing that's really that I'm really struggling with in my life, and just getting another perspective is really helpful. So don't think that you need to have like depression or anxiety or
Not
super
at
high
all.
trauma to go out and seek help.
I agree. And I'm expounding on what she said. It's funny, I didn't say that first, but definitely writing is definitely a good release mechanism. I mean, I remember before I even started acting and then, doing my own film, I used to write a lot of poetry and poetry used to help me so much and just releasing. I used to write about my sexual abuse or any kind of emotional abuse that I suffered as a kid. And that would just be such a release from me, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. It just helps so much. So definitely writing things down definitely is a good therapy. So
And speaking of therapy and venting and having that outlet, I want to give a very special shout out to this woman in the comments, Stephanie. She is my best friend. Shout outs to her. And what's so crazy is we met on an app. It was a streaming app, and we became friends since then. When I tell you, Nate and Hayley, This woman has seen my ups and downs, my everything. She's practically like one of my sisters. Because I have
Mm,
two sisters. And I said, okay, I need another one right here. I need another one. And she has been a listening ear. Whenever she's wanted me
mm,
to host something, I'm like, girl, give me more assignments because I don't like to be just sitting around. Like Hayley and Nate just said, it is key and crucial. And we've seen even with 2025, people said, okay, we've seen it all over TikTok where people saying, I want to get into gratitude journal. And I can't even count how many journals I'm looking on the floor. I can't even count how many stack of journals and diaries I have went through. And I go back and I'm not sure if everybody does this, but read their entries like, what was I thinking on this day? What could have been different about this day? So I would encourage anybody, if you are into journaling or writing poetry, find that outlet that works for you. Another outlet that works for me is fashion. I love color. And studies and science have shown that when you add color to your life, it makes you feel good. When I think of yellow or pink or blue, I think of springtime. I think of summertime. Changing your hair color. I'm blonde today. Who knows what hair color I'm going to have tomorrow? So I'm always doing different things to enhance my mood. Color enhances your mood. The certain foods we eat. And doctors and scientists have proven that when we add color into our life, it enhances your mood. So as it pertains to uh, your mental health, your wellness, your well-being, find that outlet. Do not sit in silence. And I commend you, Hayley, for saying, hey, I need to go get help. And it's more people in our community, in the BIPOC and in the Black collective, that are going and saying, I need to go sit down and go to the couch with somebody. I need to go and sit down and talk with somebody because this right here is bothering me. It's on my mind kind of heavy. And sometimes you just want a second opinion because, yes, your family, and like I said, my girl Steph, who is my dear girlfriend and my sister, uh, I can go and talk to her about anything. Or she'll just randomly text me. I'll be sitting there and I'll be watching, let's see. Uh, I know this is toxic. We should not be watching this. I do not condone you watching this. I am a big Atlanta Housewives fan. I am a big Atlanta Housewives fan. So in my downtime, I love to watch Atlanta Housewives. And we know reality TV. If for all of my Love Island fans out there, for all of my Atlanta Housewife fans out there, you need an escape. You need an escape. But I'm like, this is so toxic, but it's so good. But at the same time, I want everybody to find an escape, find an outlet that works for you. For me, mine is fashion. Team Kenya, Team Twirl, that's right. And I'm a big Nene Leakes fan. If you know me, I'm a big Nene fan. But I want everyone to talk about it. Talk about it. What sometimes the TV, sitting and watching television, you can't talk to the television like you
mm,
can how we're talking now. You just want that human feel, that human touch, communication. And I can go even back to 2020. It was difficult for a lot of us because everything was shut down. The pandemic affected a lot of things. And we all had to find an outlet how we're doing now. So Broken would be great to even go back and think about the pandemic to go back and watch as well too. And how we're all disconnected and detached from reality. And we're
mm,
broken in some sort of way. I can't do them housewives, no way. But it's a guilty pleasure for me. But
mm.
everybody has something that works for them where they can have that escape, you know? And I'm going to go back to what Nate just said about, people using medication to numb the pain, that quick temporary fix.
Mhm.
And I've seen people drink themselves to death, smoke themselves to death. And it's just like, when is it enough? It's not helping you solve the problem in some sort of way. It's like, what can I do? This is not helping me
Right.
deal with the problem. It's
Just
just a
put a
quick fix.
bandage on. Yeah.
It's numbing it, it's putting a bandage on it, and it's just like it's not healthy for me either because people get alcohol poisoning. And there's
Mm,
so many things to go around from drinking too much, from smoking too much. I lost my uncle to emphysema, and that was my mother's brother. And it was difficult for me and my family. We all had to think about it because my uncle, I remember sitting when I was younger on the porch And he would always have his leg crossed and he would be smoking a cigarette he smoked for years. And a lot of people who smoke or vape or whatever, that, yes, I get it. It's to relieve stress. But there are healthier alternatives out there for you as well, too. Because we
True.
all want to live a long and healthy life. And we want to be productive about doing it. So as it pertains to mental health, taking walks also helps as well, too.
Hmm.
For any of us that is broken in some sort of way, I know for me, a lot of people think, oh, she's got it together. And that's for any one of us. We all think we have it together. And people look at us like we got it together, but it's just like, no, yes, we want to be flawless, but we're perfectly flawed in some sort of way.
True.
And it's just like, when you take it all off, for all of us sitting up here on this panel, being entertainers, working in this business as writers, directors, actors, a host of platforms, in some sort of way, when we log off or we're going home, offset or whatever, it's like, I mean that. That was me playing a character or putting on a role or writing a script. But when I'm home alone, I'm in my thoughts. And I think for Nancy, for this film Broken, she's in her thoughts. Or as the children would say, we're in our feelings. We're deep in our bag. We're deep in
Hmm.
our bag in some sort of way. And we're sitting here like, okay, self accountability talks. Like, what did I do that was wrong? What could I do that could be better? And we sit and we ask ourselves these questions. So that was another question that I wanted to ask you, Nate, for you too, Hayley. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the audience can take this in as well too. How important is it for anybody who's battling with their own demons? Because sometimes we beat ourselves up as well too. That's another thing. For anybody who's experienced some sort of trauma, we beat ourselves up. And it's just like, no, it's not your fault. What advice would you give to anybody who is beating themselves up because of past trauma? And I know I'm guilty of it. I would go back and I would look at certain things that I've done that I wasn't proud of, or any past trauma that I've experienced, and I would beat myself up. What advice would you give to those people?
Kind of goes back to what I sort of said before. Just having forgiveness. You
Ooh,
know, having, and sometimes you gotta not just forgive the person that's done something to you. You gotta forgive yourself. So, just forgiving yourself for something that maybe that happened that maybe no one else was really involved, more maybe it was more, you in a situation. And you got to forgive your actions so that you can move on. So you can be a good father and you can be a good mother. You can be, a good husband, wife, whatever. And you can be a good friend. And you're not allowing these things to hold you back or whatever. You're not letting it hold you from succeeding, and thriving, in life.
Something that I've been starting to do that's newer in my, I meditate, so I'm a more spiritual person, um, is thinking of your childhood self, and maybe that's where the
ooh,
trauma formed, and giving your childhood self a hug
Mm-hmm.
and being the adult that maybe you didn't have, that you needed to have when you were a kid, or a teenager, or, you know, early 20s, whatever point in life you're in now. Just give your past self a hug because maybe you didn't know any better. And forgiveness, of course, within yourself. And also trying to release, to just not let these things hinder you, and just to remember that all of these negative things that you're saying about yourself in your head, they're just the ego and not really you, who you are, and they don't define you.
I'm about to hug myself right now. You know? No, that's good advice though. Definitely.
absolutely. I love what Hayley just said, which is that's actually one of my affirmations. I allowed myself to tap into my inner child. It was certain things that I would do, and I'm pretty sure each and every one of us has a memory in some sort of way of things we used to do when we were younger. I know I played soccer at one point. I'm not a tomboy anymore. I'm like a Barbie doll now. I love to be glammed up, makeup, all of that. But at that point, I wasn't happy because I wasn't authentically myself. And I wanted to do something different. We all want to reinvent ourselves in some sort of aspect. And my mother and me were having a conversation earlier, and she said, resilience. You have resilience. You bounce back from whatever it is that you encounter. And I'm pretty sure my girl Stephanie and my colleague Alvin can attest to that. Through any obstacle that each and every one of us, especially me, that is thrown my way, I find a way to come back and reinvent myself even stronger. And I remember at one point where I felt I lost who I was authentically. And I had to get that reminder. I had to go, and there's nothing wrong with, we are not too grown to go and sit with our elders, our grandparents, our great grandmother, their great grandparents, and their great grandparents, and the great, the next generation or whatever may have you, so forth and so on. There's nothing wrong with sitting. My grandmother is 80 years old, y'all. And I just got off the phone talking with her. When I tell you, I'm 31. The same type of energy that I have is the same type of energy that the women in my family have, which is that happy-go-lucky, big personality. What you see is what you get. My mom's a Libra. I'm a Scorpio. So one thing about her, she not about to back down from a debate. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, she is not about to back down from a debate. But one thing my mother has also instilled to me is make sure that you get out of your own way. And that's something for anybody that is battling with their demons. Let me tell you, learn to get out of your own way, because your own demon can be what's preventing you from the next blessing. And trust me, there have been plenty of times where I've had to reevaluate, where I've had to hold myself accountable for things, and I've had to get people to give me like that tap on the shoulder. We're not too grown for that, to have friends and family in our lives to be there to tell us like, okay, you could have did this approach a little bit differently. You could have did this a little bit differently. We're not too grown to have someone in our lives hold us accountable and let us know like, hey, you're slipping, to remind you, to uplift you. So what Hayley said is also key and crucial, because a lot of us as grown folks, we think we're too grown to tap into that inner child. Uh, I would say live your best life. Tap into that inner childhood. It's certain things. Go roller skate. We think that roller skating is for the kids. No, adults roller skate. Get out there, roller skate, go play pool with your homies, your girls. What? Go shopping. I love to shop. So my habit, my addiction is a little bit expensive because I love to shop. But I would suggest everybody live your best life. It's never too late. You're never too old to go after the pursuits of what makes you happy. And that will be my advice to anybody who's suffering with inner demons, who's suffering with anxiety, bipolar disorder. I mean, we've seen even some of the most big of the big, bigger than me. I'm not even up there yet. But like Jennifer Lewis is an example. She's talked about suffering with bipolar disorder. We've seen so many artists, Big Sean is another one, talk about mental health. And what do they do that is an outlet? Vic Mensa is another one. There's so many artists out here that have come out and spoken out saying, hey, I'm not my best today, you know, even for going for a role. Uh, if you've seen the horror film Us, Lupita says she literally had to detox this character out of her because it was so dark. Us was a horror film. So really having to go there. That's why I asked Hayley that question, and really tapping into that character and knowing when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Because sometimes we accidentally, and it's not purposely, but sometimes actors bring the characters home. And the family members are like, huh? What happened to you? Why why are you talking? What are you talking about? It's just like, oh, my bad. Still in character mode. You have to forgive me. That happens. And I've seen actors say that in interviews where they literally brought the character home and they have to separate the two. So in life, though, we are the writers of our own script. We are the directors. We are the producers. So my next question for Nate and you too, Hayley, also would be for anybody that's writing the script of their life. what gems of encouragement would you give them to add in their story? I know we can't write the story for them, but what are some tips and tricks that you would give them on writing their story? Because each and every one of us has something significant that has happened to us in our lives. And for Nate to share that, to be vulnerable and share that with myself as well as the audience, I had no idea. But for me also to be able to be so open and so free, what advice would you give to someone on opening up? Because it can be a scary process for anybody sharing bits and pieces of yourself. Any trauma that you've experienced, it can be scary because again, we live in a society where it is so judgmental and everything is about this. One click, one tap, one like. We live in a society where it is about validation, just being judged, perceived, and what will people think if we say this? What advice would you give?
I mean, one thing I would say is be authentic.
Oh
Be
yeah,
your real self. You know, if you're gonna like if you're gonna write a script, I mean, definitely, if you're gonna write a script and use pieces of your life, I mean, just be real about it. And be fearless. I mean, don't worry about what people are gonna say, how people are gonna judge you. But know that if you do put yourself out there, you are gonna be judged. You are gonna be possibly scrutinized because of the fact you were so real. And we live in a world where everything's an illusion with social media and how people present themselves on the internet. So being fearless, being authentic, um, and taking your time. Don't rush. I mean, don't put yourself on a
oh yeah.
timetable. I mean, it might take you 3 months to write a script, might take you 6 months, might take you a year. It's just a matter of being getting all your ideas out, making sure that you're taking your time with it. Being your authentic self. Whatever that means to you. And like I said, being fearless and understanding that there's some negativity is gonna come your way, but you don't care. I'm putting myself on paper. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to express. And the people that are meant to hear it, they're gonna hear it and
Yeah,
receive it. So
definitely take that leap and be fearless, and don't let the broken parts of you hold you back from taking that leap and that risk. And I feel that Nate, throughout this whole process, was very fearless. I was very impressed by the way that he picked people from just meeting them once, or he picked me from like seeing my work one time and was like, hey, I'm gonna make you the lead. This is what I'm thinking about doing. You interested? It was like, yeah. And it ended up being like a much larger script, which, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not complaining about it. And just an even fuller story to be a full feature film. But just very impressed by how he was so fearless in doing all of the parts. And I've been in some independent films where it just kind of stops, or there's like a pause and then they pick it up again, but they don't tell you and they've recast it or whatever. So Nate never did that. He was really clear with his communication and like, this is happening, we're doing this, and I want you to be a part of it, and communicating that with everybody in the group. We have a massive group chat of everybody who's a part of Broken, so that's definitely helpful too in terms of communicating, stuff that's happening and when to be on set and things.
right. And I think as you watch the film, we're talking about people dealing with mental health, awareness or mental health, I'm sorry, issues. And you see how, there's a lot of main characters in the film. Hayley is the main character, but you have four other girls, which are, her friends, some of her enemies, that, she has to, deal with through the course of this film. Then you got two detectives who are trying to, who are investigating and trying to track this serial killer that's targeting women. And the movie just speaks to the fact that, the people you think that was going to survive may not, and people that, you thought wasn't going to survive might actually survive. So the person you thought maybe was the weakest, come to find out, may have been the strongest out of the crew or out of the group. So,
Looks can be deceiving. And as it speaks to survival and being fearless, I say be fearless in the pursuit of what sets. I tell people this all the time at the end of every one of my interviews. If you go back and watch it, see, you hear me say it. I tell people to live life through fire. You only get one, so live it to the fullest. And being fearless. how to develop confidence, how to develop courage. It is a step by step process. It's not something you can just in a bottle. You can just how we do with our protein shakes. You can mix it up with the powder and you shake it up and it's boom, done. Takes confidence. Confidence and courage takes time building up. And I didn't become this outspoken just overnight. No, it literally took people mentoring me, telling me, okay, this is what you need to do, this, that, and that. Having mentors, having coaches. It's important to have people in your life that will mentor you and guide you in the right direction. And I think, again, this project is a masterpiece, that it is genius, that you not only get to highlight Hayley's story as the character Nancy, but other women's story as well too, as these women are trying, fighting for survival in their own sort of way, battling their own demons because
Mm-hmm.
everybody has their own story, while this killer is out here on the loose. So it not only gives you a look into Nancy's character, but it also gives you, yeah, and what her thoughts, her emotions, everything that she's feeling. But you're also getting a gist of the other women in the project as well too. And I think that is key and crucial and important that we highlight their stories because each and every one of us, nobody would have ever known that I went through emotional abuse just from me coming on today with my personality and everything. And I've kept it under wraps. I've never talked about it in any of my interviews because I'm just like, when my guests are sharing their stories, I'm sitting there taking this all in and I'm just like, you got to tell people because you never know who your story can help. Just by you sharing your story, you can't be afraid. So that ties
True.
into courage and being bold and just putting it out there. There was that one family member that did not treat you right. Let people know. Let people know because they could have been through the same situation, you know. And I think that it is key and crucial for a lot of us to share that with the world. Don't be afraid. So that question was on being fearless and having courage. Just speak up. Speak up. There's a
Mm-hmm.
film with Christian Stewart, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it, Nate and Haley. It's called Speak. Something happened to her and she was in high school. She was a high school student, and she didn't talk. But then finally, the others, I can't give the film away, but just go and check it out. There's one scene in there where the other students seen what happened, and they told, and she spoke. The
And what's
film
it
was
called
called
again?
Speak. Speak,
Speak.
and it has Kristen Stewart. For all of my Twilight lovers in this, way before Twilight. But she in that film was being picked on, being taken advantage of. Is even the most quiet that people think that they can take advantage of or manipulate. And I know a lot of us have been manipulated or gaslit in some sort of way. That is a form of trauma as well too, because people will gaslight you and invalidate your experience and say that didn't happen to you.
Mm.
It's like who are you to deny me my experience and tell me this didn't happen to me when it actually happened to me? So the next question, Christian. Yes, she on her way. Haley's on her way. Hayley and Nate, what advice would you give to people who are just having that problem with speaking, who are just having that fear of saying what happened to them? Any form of trauma. What advice would you give them?
Um.
That's a tough question.
Right. Um. I mean, I guess I would. I guess I would just like tell them my story, you know, and hoping that will, encourage them or strengthen them, and and somehow, like I said, strengthen them to, want to get their story out,
Yeah,
you know, and want to tell their truth. I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, anyways. Everyone can only speak from their own experience when they're talking to someone and relaying any kind of information. Um, and I feel like when you do speak from your own experience and you telling somebody something that they can relate to because they've dealt with whatever, if it's emotional, physical, sexual, whatever abuse, and you tell them about things you've dealt with, in that same categories, I feel like it puts a fire, under them to maybe want to speak their truth and and get their emotions and their feelings out and to tell their story.
I think I would say, coming from someone who was identified as the quiet girl all throughout elementary and high school,
Yeah.
which wasn't true to my close friends who knew me.
She's a
Uh,
party animal.
that was college. Um, but I would tell them your voice matters,
Yes.
and don't be afraid to use your voice. And nobody can judge, nobody can tell you that your opinion is wrong because it's your opinion.
And a lot of people have been gaslit and just experienced the feeling of people not validating their feelings. Your feelings are valid. How you feel right now is valid to anybody. If you feel like you're on the verge of tears, your emotions are valid. Release them. Do not keep them inside, because what happens when you shake a soda bottle up and you unscrew that top, it sprays everywhere. So, my advice to anybody as it pertains to harboring onto that emotion. And it ties into the film Broken, because you can be at your breaking point in any moment and we can experience rage. Rage is so red, you're so angry, you don't know which way to turn, what to do. And I just had a conversation with my mom. I cried a little bit earlier. My mom has been sick. And it's just like it's taking a toll on me. Like I feel powerless. What can I do? And she told me that you got to keep, if you are a faith based person, if you believe, to anybody out there that believes, my suggestion would be to continue to keep your head up, because darkness does not last forever. For anybody who's feeling despair out here in these times, the climate we're in, the world we're in, I want you to know that this darkness, this kind of pain that you're feeling is valid, and you're not alone, because there are people out here who feel the same exact thing. And I remember for myself personally, I'm pretty sure for Nate and Hayley, there have been times where we all felt alone or left out or picked on to be picked. Picked. My mom would has an expression that goes like this: picked out to be picked on. That's it. I couldn't say it. Try saying that 3 times fast. But she says that to say this to anybody that has a feeling of feeling inadequate. Because I know there are days when I wake up and I'm just like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? It's those demons that got into your head. It goes back to the demons that Hayley was talking about earlier, and Nate also was talking about. We all battle with them, and they're saying, I got you. I got you. I got to get the enemy. I got to get the enemy. They're revving you up. They're gassing you up in the back of your head. You know how we watch cartoons and we got the good angel on our shoulder, and then you got the bad angel on your shoulder telling you what not to do. Like, okay, girl, go eat the chocolate chip cookies. No, do not eat those chocolate chip cookies. Your mother told you not to eat them. So, I mean, that's just an example. You have a good conscience and you have a bad conscience that tells you what to do. And at the end of the day, we battle with some sort of guilt. We battle with some sort of demon. And trust me, each and every one of us, we're trying to figure out a way, how can we tackle this? Why is this haunting me? Until we all come to terms with whatever it is that is bothering us, because our parents can tell easily. And I'm pretty sure Nate and Healy can relate to this. Our mothers know everything. You can't hide it from them. As much as you try, you can't hide it from your mother. My mother is a Libra woman, and she'll notice that something is off. She'll be like, something off with you today. What is it? What's going on? Because she asked me one day to go fix her something to drink. And she was just like, you forgot my drink. I was doing the dishes in the kitchen one day. She said, fix me something to drink. And I totally forgot. It blew my mind. She's like, what's on your mind? Mothers know everything to anybody who's watching. You can't hide it from her. Not even your report card. You can try, but I got all A's and B's. That's a whole nother thing. But I say that intuition is a powerful thing. And that's the last question before we wrap that I wanted to ask Hayley. Well, and then we got our game segment. They're both going to get to ask me questions. And the turn the table segment. So I'm going to let Hayley and Nate here host my show. But intuition, how important is it that anybody who's battling with their demons, who's battling with any sort of guilt or resentment, anything, how important is it that people trust their intuition and their gut?
So important.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't trust it, then you're just lying to yourself. And usually, that thing that your intuition was telling you about, that maybe you should worry about that partner, um, then if you don't follow your intuition and you just stay with that partner, oh, they cheated. Okay. So like always trust your intuition,
Mm.
because for me it's a she. She knows what's up. And I think our intuition kind of is what connects us all as human beings to each other. Um, because it's just something that is like known in your gut and it's unspoken. So just follow it.
Yeah. I would say that sometimes within yourself, you can, I mean, I guess you can call it intuition. Sometimes within yourself, you have a voice telling you to actually reach out to or like trust this person who is reaching out to you and trying to be a support system, to you. I think sometimes when you're dealing with certain anxiety or depression or whatever, we can kind of push people away, and you might have that one person that is trying to be a support system to you, and they want you to lean on them, but you're antisocial or you're pushing this person away, whatever it might be. One thing I love about the movie is that you'll see how Hayley has somewhat of a support system. She has another friend named Marcherie. I'm sorry, not Marcherie.
Maxie.
About that, Maxie. I apologize. That's the real name in real life. The Marcherie plays the character Maxie Wells, and Maxie is actually Hayley's employer, but she's also a very good friend to I'm sorry, very good friend to Nancy. I messed up altogether. She's a very good friend to Nancy, and they have a thing that they do anytime that maybe like Nancy gets like depressed or she feels anxiety or stress. She has the two of them have like this little thing they say to each other to try to like, and it actually calms down Nancy or helps her if she's having a panic attack or whatever. And it's just important to have them type of people in your life, people that are willing to be there for you through them rough times. And like I said, not pushing them away, because you might push that person away and there may not be nobody else that's going to come and take their place. So
At all. At all. And it's key and crucial that we surround ourselves with people who uplift us, who, again, will not only just hold us accountable, but be there like text or call, like, do you need anything? Are you good today? What can
hmm
I do to help? Do you want to talk about it? And there's so many people who've lost loved ones, who've lost their significant others, who's lost anything. And it feels like a piece of your soul is ripped from your body. You feel empty. You feel incomplete, like something is missing. So, to anybody who's experiencing trauma or feels broken, definitely talk about it. Talk to someone. The resources are there. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not feeling my best. It's okay to not be okay. In other words, all right? So,
agree.
it's now game time, Fashion Dolls, and I'm so nervous for this next segment because I've never had two of my guests. I always get one, but two of my guests here today, Hayley and Nate, will get to turn the tables and ask me some questions. Fashion, beauty, life, goals, mental health, whatever they want to know, they are free to ask. And for my new viewers out there, you'll get to know a little bit about me through their questions. So take it away, Hayley and Nate. They are hosting the show Fashion Dolls in a segment I like to call Turn the Table.
Can we see your fit?
Okay, the dress that I'm wearing today, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has a dragon on it. So, yes, to the
That's cool.
detail.
Little
Mm.
mesh action.
Yes. I had to because it is so hot. And I was just like, I was going to do a suit today. And I said, nope, I'm not doing no suit today. I'm going to do this mesh number. My mother pulled it out and showed me. I was like, where did you get this? Because me and her practically wear the same size. And
Mm-hmm.
she showed it to me. And she said, this mesh dress, I believe you gave this to me. I said, that's more up my style. I love mesh. So, yes.
What city are you located in?
South Carolina. I'm a South Carolina girl.
Oh, okay.
So my father's family is originally in New York, but I have family down here in South Carolina where I'm at and all throughout North Carolina. My girlfriend that was just in here, Steph, she's up there in North Carolina, but I have a cousin and a brother there. And I have a sister in New York. I have a niece and a nephew up there, and I have cousins. all throughout there.
Okay. Oh, I was hoping you were closer to Cleveland so you can come to premiere
Right.
August 2nd.
So, yeah. If I was, I would love to. And you said
Hmm.
Cleveland, Ohio, my favorite town. All right, that's Holly. When I think of Cleveland, I think of Holly Berry. So yes.
Yes, yes. Many others came from here too.
Very true.
Um, what was your inspiration behind starting your like blog?
She
And
just took my question. I was about to
and
ask.
and how did you know what you wanted to talk about in your blog
Ooh,
and your
okay.
channel?
Okay, with Style by Stevie, how was Style by Stevie formed? It was one day it wasn't originally called Style by Stevie. For anybody that's watching, it was called Weekdays Topics. And we would do it in the morning, sort of like The View meets, what's the name of that show that used to come on E? The Soup, is it Soup Talk? One of the two. And I can't remember his name, but he would host it and it would be like pop culture. It would be political things, which I'm very political lately and deeply engaged. It would be a mix of things. And I'm just like, how can I do this into a gumbo and make people want it, make people watch it, and make people curious to say, what is it that she has that makes people want to go back for more? So I was sitting in my room just brainstorming, and I started Style by Stevie like right after high school, so 2016. And I was looking through a Vogue magazine, of course. And I said, boom, there you have it. You can't name it that, but Style by Stevie, because you
Mm.
love fashion, you love entertainment, you love the arts, you love getting engaged, fighting for what is right, what's in this political climate that we're in. Uh, so many things. So I said, why not combine them all together and give them to people? When people see fashion, which was the case, I think, for Nate and a few other of my guests that I've reached out to, Hayley, um, they're like, "You want to interview me? What is this? What is this platform right here? Fashion? I'm not really into that, but we can talk about something." I'm like, no. It's so much more than just that. So when you think of Style by Stevie, you think of a lifestyle because we love to shop. We love fashion. We love to eat. We love to watch movies. We love music. We love pop culture. We love all of these things. So why not get a name for it, get it trademarked or whatever, and make this your thing. Make it Style by Stevie. So when people see my logo, when they see that, because I know I've got the Beyonce was actually the inspiration for this season's disco theme because I wanted everything platinum. Her Renaissance theme. I said, I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep it going in 2025 because all of us want to feel platinum. All of us want to feel amazing about ourselves. Walk into the room with confidence. You're Style by Stevie. You're all of these things. You're that and then some. So my motto was Style by Stevie, get you some Miss Stevie in your life. But now it's just like gotta be so real. Gotta be Style by Stevie. In some sort of way, you gotta keep it real and you gotta make it relatable to the audience and palatable to the audience so they take it in, you know? So Style by Stevie, that's how Style by Stevie was created. Just when you're looking at a fashion magazine and saying, hey, let's do something different that's never been done before. Because we see so many podcasts, so many platforms, but there are very few that focus solely on fashion and a host that comes in changing her look 24/7. I mean, I have over 1,100 looks on Pinterest. I've counted them all. I've done doggone near 830. This will be interview 832, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow,
So,
Wow.
so many
congratulations.
looks,
Mm.
so many interviews. And I said, this is something. Let's keep it going. A little long winded, but yes, this is my baby. I've been going since 2016.
Amazing.
How did you find out about the movie?
How did I find out about Broken? You
Yeah.
sent me the photo. You sent me the promo for it and everything. And I said, oh
Oh, I
my
did.
God,
Okay, I'm sorry.
uh, I got to check this out because we need more projects like this that highlight mental health, that highlight things that everyday people are battling, especially in the current state that we're in, where it's just like we don't know which way to go, what to do. We're battling with something new, our own issues, your car note is due, your rent, all of these things that people go through in everyday life. It's just like how much more. So when I seen you sent me the flyer And I saw Hayley's face on the flyer and it said broken. I said, okay, boom. This is what we need in these times. Because there have been
Mhm.
so many films that have covered mental health, that have covered trauma, that have covered everyday people fighting and battling their inner demons in some sort of way. And we can relate to the characters. You're going to relate to the character in some sort of way. So that's how I found out about your project, just from you sending it to me
Mm.
and wanting to know more about it, having that conversation, the promo.
Well, I'm glad I did. I sent it to so many people. I'm sorry. This movie is taking up all my brain capacity. So yeah, but that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's just
So
it.
I have one more question for you.
Yes.
Um, so so I know you mentioned you have Pinterest, you've got Instagram,
Yes.
YouTube, I assume TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok personally. Um, what platform do you find that your work is most successful on? And how do you navigate putting electronic devices away and turning it off and not letting, things, posts, likes, and all of that stuff affect you personally?
Girl. It's been difficult in this climate right now with having to stay away. And then we just recently had Paris Fashion Week. So I'm just like, I can't stay away. I got to put my phone down, but like, I got to stay glued. Okay, I see Cardi B at Fashion Week with her. She showed up with the crow, and I said I couldn't just take my eyes off of it. So I was glued. But for me, how do I navigate with it? Because I have at least 3 different devices over here. Okay, when it's time for me to unplug for the night, because I love how Instagram now has it when you're in sleep mode. You can set a certain time to let people know, like if you send me something, I won't see it until in the morning. And that little moon will pop up on your profile. That means you're in sleep mode. So I love how you're able to detach from reality life, which is your Instagram, and then go into real life with your family, with your friends. So I find that balance between two. I understand that you can't stay online all day. And I don't make it my business to. I blog here and there what I'm wearing, what fragrance I'm wearing, watch my stories. It's always a scent of the day. What am I wearing? As Hayley asked, the outfit of the day is up. I always post my outfit of the day. So those little things. But balancing out so many social media platforms, especially when you're doing this by yourself. But I do have a team behind me. It's a team of women. But everything else, the post, uh, the announcements, I'm responsible for all of that. So I have to make sure that I have it scheduled to drop at a certain time. Like every Friday, I drop my lineup of who's coming on the show. And I make it my business to make sure that that lineup goes out while I'm doing how we're doing our interview live in real time. They drop at 4 p.m. And I also try to make sure that I am also finding the balance of separating Style by Stevie from Stevie, the actual person. And I think a lot of people, as we get into business, we have to realize that sometimes you have to turn it on, you have to unplug. So I definitely can relate to that question that you just asked, Haley, because I have to unplug a lot. I see a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things, but I also see a lot of bad things. We're seeing a lot in this current state we're in, and we're having to get a distraction. So I thank God for family. Family is that it goes back to what Nate just said, which is that circle earlier. He said that, which is that circle, that tribe. Like in the film, your character has a tribe of women who also experience trauma in their own sort of way as well too. But having that village, I remember my cousin. She called me, and this is on Juneteenth, and she said, "Girl, what you doing?" I said, "Nothing much," and I was watching again something on television. What was I watching? Of course, Housewives. I think it was that. But she called and said, "What you doing?" And it was on a weekend. It was on a Friday. I said, "Nothing much." Well, me and the family doing a cookout. I said I needed that distraction because I was so deeply politically engaged to everything that was going on. Like I could not keep my eyes off of everything that this administration is doing. I have to stay focused on it. I said, "Girl, thank you so much for calling me and getting me out the house to be with family." They cooked out and I went to spend time with family. And I left my phone home. I went without my phone. I left it intentionally on the charger to charge. So you got to learn when to deprogram. And I did it on purpose because I'm really, really bad. I love to stay in tune with what's going on in the fashion world and, of course, the current news here on the gram. But I said sometimes I got to unplug and I'll come back and check my messages later. So thank God for sleep mode. You can set it. Mine's is set, I think, at like 7 p.m. Eastern. And when I see that moon, when you see that moon pop up on my profile, I will see your message till in the morning. So I love that IG has that feature. But yeah, it's a balancing everything out.
Okay. My last question would be, so what is your ultimate goal with your podcast or with any of your businesses you have going on? Like, what is your ultimate goal for, the rest of the year or next year or, whatnot?
I would love to be like Drew Barrymore, but it's a black woman doing it. So I would love to be, Oprah has her network.
Mhm.
So I would like to be the second black woman to have her own network, to put films like your project Broken on there. Oh my God. Hi, Wayne. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Scott Lucas, this is the man who is responsible for dressing two of the most powerful women in the music history, Janet Jackson and Tina Turner.
Oh, no.
The Vibe cover that Janet did, like with what I'm wearing today, Wayne is responsible for that. So definitely a very special thank you to Wayne Scott Lucas, who was a dear friend of mine, who's dressed the late Tina Turner as well too. So yeah, behind a lot of powerful women. And also my good friend, supermodel Cara Young, who has been on the cover of Vogue magazine. She's been on Cosmopolitan. You've seen her everywhere. So this man is responsible for a lot of women in the business. So
Awesome.
glad to call him a friend. And he
Nice.
says, nice to say hello to you all. You too, Wayne. We gotta catch up. It has been a minute. It has been a minute. He actually showed me the dress Tina Turner wore in one of her tours, and the dress was a Versace dress. That's a whole
Mm.
nother story. Let me get back to Nate's question. What do I want this platform to go? Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. But um, I would love to have merch. I would love to have like Drew Barrymore. She has a magazine. She has home cooking decor. She has all of that. That's what I could see myself doing in the future with this platform, having my name attached to a brand and having it in stores as well.
That's awesome.
It's
Mhm.
amazing.
So that
It's
is
definitely.
all. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm cut you off.
No, I was saying them are all great goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
And looks like you'll definitely achieve them. So I'm proud of you already.
I'm
Yeah. And
proud
then
of you. This
on your journey.
amazing project. And Wayne, thank you for being such an amazing support system. Like when I first met Wayne, Wayne was just bold and putting it out there. And now that I've met Hayley and I've met Nate, it's like I keep meeting amazing people each day and hearing
Mm.
their stories. And it just makes me want to keep going more. And I said, Mom, I was telling my mom today, I can't go to the hospital. It's for my own trauma. Like my sister passed in the hospital and then my uncle passed. And that's something people don't know about me. That's why I have a fear of hospitals. I'm like, the worst is coming. So I told her an outlet for me is Style by Steve. An outlet for me to be able to to vent and share with the world and have my guests come on and vent to me and just lay it all out there. No judgment. It's a safe space and have people share their stories where it's ideal. And you both have been through similar situations in some sort of way and it impacted you in some sort of way. I told her, this is my outlet. She told me, keep going. Don't stop. And I'm not going to stop. So I'm going to keep going till I get my own network. Oprah has her network. I would like to be the second Black woman to have her network. But I would give Black filmmakers of color, an opportunity because at a time where we're not shown, we're rarely shown, we're seeing that representation, yes, and they're trying to erase it, but we're going to keep creating. We're going to keep creating. We're going to keep telling our stories, especially stories like this Broken, which touch on mental health, which touch on trauma, which touch on so many things that we as Black people and BIPOC, people of color, we experience within our community. So it is key and crucial. And I'm going to keep that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Come see
you are
Broken August 2nd. I think everybody who sees it will see a little bit of themselves in each one of the characters,
I agree.
or know somebody who represents one of the characters. So the characters are very nuanced. So come see it August 2nd, Cleveland, Ohio. Well, Euclid, Ohio. 7 p.m. or 5:30 p.m.
Yes, 5:30 doors open. We're gonna have vendors. People can mingle. They can network, with other guests. And the movie starts at 7 p.m. It's a red carpet event, so people like Hayley, a lot of the main characters like Hayley, Marjorie, Crystal, Ann, and all of them. They will be walking the red carpet and getting interviewed. I do want to say that Hayley plays Nancy, but like I said, we do have the other characters like Crystal Ann. She's one of the main characters. She plays Trina Berea. She has a totally different personality, kind of badass, a bully, but very blunt. Then you got Marjorie plays Maxie Wells. Like I said, she's the employer of Nancy. The character Hayley plays, but very sweet individual, kind of a motherly type character. Then you have Stephanie, who plays the character Isabella, aka Izzy, and she just has her own quirky personality, kind of the younger one of the crew. And then you have the detectives. You have detectives who are trying to track down this lady killer, and they're played by Basha and Ricky, who plays Detective Daniels and Detective Kowalska. And like I said, everyone just has their own energy and own nuance and their own personalities and attitudes, and it definitely it just makes up for more of a complete story when you watch it.
And shout out to Nate as a Black man writing so many leads as females, and the cast is predominantly BIPOC women, or women from Basha's from another country.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Ricky. Shout out to Ricky, our one dude holding it down.
Right. Yeah, it is definitely more of a female cast. We have Ricky, that's in it. Is there any other guys in it?
Yeah, Rich.
Rich, yes. Nancy's uncle, Rich Ford, is in it as well. So yeah, it has a few guys, but definitely this is a movie, regardless of your gender, you're gonna be able to relate to it. So.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it a chick flick.
I would not. I would definitely not. It's definitely anybody can relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's not Sex on the City.
Sex in the City.
Sex in the. You see, I've never watched this show. That's why I messed it up. Sex in the City. I'm sorry. So just come check it out. Like she said, August 2nd. Doors open at 5:30. Movie starts at 7 p.m. in Cleveland, Ohio.
And you have it, Fashion Dolls, and let everyone know where they can follow you and if you have any other upcoming projects. This was such a blast, and I'm glad that we got to talk about this project because I hope a lot of people are taken away from our conversation just today with us sharing our experiences as trauma and so much. I want you all to take away from that and go check out this amazing project. I need you guys to do that. Make sure that you're going and supporting. Like Nate said, it's not Sex and the City. That is another one of my guilty pleasures. You already know who my favorite character is on the show. She is the fashionista. So out of the group, I would be the Carrie. But Nate and Hayley, let everyone know where they can follow you and what is next in the chapters, because we are all trying to finish and close the chapter in our lives in some sort of way. So what is next in your chapter, and where can everyone follow you?
I would definitely say on the Facebook, go to our film page. We have our own film page. I did start a company that this film is under called Lucky Weirdo Films. And that name can relate to anybody. I feel like we are all weirdos in our own way. And I mean that in a positive way, not a negative one. But Lucky Weirdo Films on Facebook, you'll see how we highlighted a lot of the actors. You see how we show a lot of behind the scenes. I feel like the page itself, as you go through it, you'll definitely get more of a personal idea of each actor, where they came from and who their character is in the film itself. As far as that, I have not started a film page I've started a group a separate page. I apologize, on Instagram or TikTok, but I plan to. Me and my team plan to. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, you definitely go to Nate Taylor _actor on Instagram. So yeah, Lucky Widow Films on Facebook, Nate Taylor _actor on Instagram. As far as the next film, we are planning to start casting again in the Cleveland area for our next film. I don't want to say what it is yet because kind of a surprise. But it will have some great actors. It's gonna have a lot of Cleveland in it. And one thing I like to say about this movie is that this movie definitely, you know how you, okay, for example, you know how you watch a movie and you trying to figure out, man, what city this movie takes place in. You don't have to think about that when you look at this movie, because you know this movie was set in Cleveland. It's a lot of Cleveland locations, scenery all throughout this film. So our next movie again is going to be filmed in Cleveland. It's going to definitely highlight the beautiful areas on the east and west of Cleveland, Ohio. So
Yeah, you can follow me, Hayley Claire Johnson on Instagram. That's Hayley spelled like Hayley Williams or Hayley Mills with 2 Y's, Hayley, Claire Johnson on Instagram. Yeah, Lucky Weirdo Films. And what's next for me? We'll see. This project is now over, so as an actor, it's time to audition again.
It's more coming,
So,
girl. It's more coming,
yeah,
and I'm manifesting it. Outstanding
yeah,
job, and it's more coming.
thank you.
And I just want to say that, definitely, Hayley has got me blushing over here because she's saying how good I've done in that area as far as like, my directing and writing a script. But I must say too, Hayley was like awesome. She's, everybody you got to give some type of direction to. I think Hayley probably was the least of the many that I had to give direction to. She kind of like adapted to things very, very quickly. And she brought a lot of emotion and a lot of energy to her character, which I really appreciated. I really, honestly, and I know maybe people just say this just to say it or whatever, but I really can't think of anyone who could have played Nancy Ford better than Hayley Johnson.
Thank you.
So,
And it is so much more in the horizon. Congratulations to you both on such an amazing project. And where can everyone check it out? For those of you who are wanting to figure out, Nate, Hayley, where can everyone go and check it out when it's being released?
Yes, Nate, where?
well, I will say after the premiere, we do plan to put it on the streaming platforms. I can't say when. I mean, we were thinking by the end of the fall or whatever that it'll be on the streaming platforms, like Peacock, Tubi, Amazon Prime, wherever we can get it at. But I might actually put it in a couple of the film festivals if I can get some, have it win some awards, like in, like the Cannes Film Festival, et cetera. I feel like it'll be more of a force to be reckoned with when it gets on the stream platforms, because they'll have them, awards attached to it. So that's the idea. But then again, like I said, we might just throw it on the stream platforms, and have it out, by this fall, So, we're just trying to mull over ideas and figure out which one is the best option. So.
All right, Fashion Dolls, there you have it. The project is titled Broken. Make sure you guys go and check it out. And stay tuned for more to come from Hayley and Nate. And I had such a dynamic time with both of you. This was such a great
Likewise.
conversation. And this was like a vent session. I needed this because I was going crazy. But for you too at home, if whenever you feel like you're feeling neglected, I want to leave you guys with a final thought of the day. Today's final thought of the day is about being fearless, which is what we just touched on. Being great starts by being fearless. Fearless starts by having faith. Having faith starts by letting go. It's hard, but it's not impossible. And I want each and every one of you to know that as well too. It can be challenging. We all go through our challenges in life. We have our obstacles, but who would we not be if we did not have our challenges? It makes us human. It makes us divine in our own right. And I want each and every one of you to go away doing something remarkable. And not only that, but not staying in the deep of the dark too long. Don't drink yourself away. Don't just waste your life away. And I want each and every one of you to find that outlet for you that works. Again, like I said, I love fashion. So changing up my look, getting my hair and nails done, or being pampered, makeup, whatever it is, that's my outlet. It's therapy for me. Talking is an outlet. Talk to someone. Get on the phone, and I want everybody. We now live in a day and age where we are so disconnected. Pick up that phone, call a relative. My cousin called me out of nowhere, and I want each and every one of you to do the same thing that she did. Well, my cousin's actually coming on the show. So we're going to talk about that. That was another icebreaker and the surprise that I wanted to share with y'all. My cousin Sherry is coming on the show July 25th. So make sure you guys stay on. We're going to be talking about makeup and all of the things. She's just like, girl, I can't do it like you. So definitely. And better, best Brandon. I'm trying to say wishing could see it, showing love from New York. I'm so proud of all of y'all. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Stevie. Appreciate it.
And
And I definitely want to say too, besides the things that we hit on, as far as like having that person to talk to,
Yeah.
if retail therapy, shopping definitely makes you feel better. At least make me feel better. Um, I would definitely say going to the gym too, man. Gym has saved my life. I mean, in times where I've been depressed, frustrated, or I feel like drinking or smoking, I just go hit the gym. And that works for no matter what gender you are, male, female. You hit that gym, or maybe go for a run, go for a walk. You don't even have to, go, do
nature,
anything, a hard exercise. Just go to a park or just walk down your street and take a little walk around the block. All them things, just helps you, mentally to, recover from whatever you're dealing with. So.
nature is a good outlet as well too. Getting outside, not staying in. I know when the pandemic hit, 2020 for all of us, we were all inside. We wanted to be outside. We wanted to be near our friends and family. We were just like, oh my God, it feels like the walls are closing in. What are we going to do now? And I think that a lot of us, with everything being open, with concerts and festivals, where everything is now open, we can feel free to go out and have our fun. Take a vacation. Uh, do a journal entry. Do something that is beneficial for you. So I wanted to close the show with that. And I want you all to be critical and be aware as well too. All right,
Mm.
Fashion Dogs, I'm going to close with that. But joining me tomorrow, we have Justin Long. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime so that you can check out the full interview from beginning to end. And I will have it saved here on the gram. And I see some of you followed me. Thank you so much for your love and unconditional support. So I will see you guys tomorrow at a new time at 3. But for the rest of the week, it'll bounce back. It'll be 3 and 4. So you're going to get 2 guests, maybe 1 guest. So make sure you guys are staying tuned. I love you all. And again, as we discussed in this conversation, be intentional about using your outlets and speaking out and encouraging other people. You're not alone in this, to anybody watching. I love you. And again, take care of yourself. Be gentle to yourself because you deserve yourself just that and much more. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Stevie.
Take care, everybody. I love y'all.